Good morning, everybody. I didn't even realize it was past 2 o'clock. I'll be on in about 5 minutes. Good morning, Sweet Tea. How are you? Hope you're having a good morning. I've been up early. I got up early. I've already been up for a few hours. Well, let's see here. 11:30, 12:30, 1:30. Almost 3 hours already. I've already been at it. Where's my pictures at? I made these. Let me move my little avatar here. Made these hot cocoa bombs this morning. Boxed them up. So these things didn't even exist this morning. Made the shells, filled them, sealed them up, put the little drizzle on them, boxed them up, boom, ready to go out the door. So I got seven 6-packs made this morning before 2 a.m. Not bad. And I'm going right back at it after I'm done here. CG2, good morning. Good to see you. Daniel Berry, good to see you. Don Miku, good morning. Good to see you. Hope you guys are doing good. Yum, yes. So nice and simple. I mean, not a whole lot to it. But, this is probably about the 4,000th. I'll say I've made about 4,000 hot cocoa bombs. I've done 2 orders where I had more than 300 hot cocoa bombs ordered. Actually, 3 orders. So that's 900 hot cocoa bombs just in 3 orders. I've been doing these for 4 years now, I think. I don't do nearly as many now as I used to because I mix it up a little bit more now. But I've made several hundred already this year. So I've got these ones are the milk chocolate. This is just milk chocolate with hot cocoa marshmallows inside. And then I've got white chocolate with hot cocoa marshmallows and peppermint. I've got dark chocolate with hot cocoa marshmallows and peppermint. I've got the Grinch bombs, which are green with the little red fondant heart on top. And they have hot cocoa marshmallows inside. And then I've got the salted caramel apple cider bombs, which is a salted caramel shell with apple cider inside. And I'm thinking about doing some mocha bombs with instant coffee and creamer, which I've done before. So I just don't know yet how much time. I'm running out of time. So we got storms coming here in Washington. I mean, damn. They're talking about coastal flooding and all kinds of warnings and shit. Hopefully Saturday is the only day that I absolutely need to be outside. I can skip the Christmas tree lot this weekend, except for Saturday, because they're having a big parade on Saturday. So hopefully it doesn't look like it's going to be too bad on Saturday. We'll see. It's probably going to suck, but I don't care how bad it sucks. The wind is what's going to, I can't set my tent up when the wind is too strong. Sunday, they're talking like 21 mile an hour winds. There's just no way. 13 is like pushing it. Saturday, it says 15. So I'll have to figure something out. I'll still go. It's always something. Do they spoil if you post them, etc.? Do they spoil if you post them, etc.? I'm not sure what you mean by post, Don. So they have a long shelf life, like a really long shelf life. I mean, literally, you could make it, these were just made today. You could literally use this next year if you wanted to. And are the marshmallows inside going to be hard? Yeah, but who cares? Because they hit the hot cocoa and, you would never even know the difference, believe it or not. And the chocolate, when I buy it, it says that it has like a year expiration date on it. So, but I always tell people 3 months is the shelf life. Just because, as long as you keep them in a cool, dry place, don't put them in the refrigerator, cupboard or something, they're perfectly fine. And you can even eat them as a midnight snack. You can just crack it open with a hammer. In fact, my ex would make, there's different versions. That's a 60 millimeter. There's a 50 millimeter and a 70 millimeter. Oh, if I ship them? No, I can ship them, Don, for sure. I can definitely ship them. The problem is keeping them in stock. If ALV hears me say that, he's going to start laughing, be like, yeah, right. Because he's been asking me to ship chocolate since Easter. And I've just kind of been busy. The last time I shipped chocolate was to Gerard Churchelli, and it never got there. The post office laughed at me because they ate my chocolate. So it just kind of put a sour taste in my mouth about shipping. But no, they could definitely ship. As long as the weather, as long as they're not going to pass through heat, because they will melt very easily. They're designed to melt. So that's a problem. You would have to cold pack them if they're going to be above, say, like, if the sun's out, they can't sit out in the sun. Even in a box. Cash first, right? Exactly. Well, it's not the money. It's just it's the keep. My biggest problem is just having stuff in stock, especially around this time of year. It just, the people will buy crazy amounts of things at one time. These hot cocoa bombs, I've got single boxes that I'm selling for $7. I've got 4-packs that I'm selling for $20. And the 6-packs I think I'm going to sell for $27. I may adjust the price a little bit. I was already selling the 4-packs for $20. I don't want to sell the singles for $5. I may sell them for $6. But I'm thinking $7 for the single ones. Because, they each have their own little box and whatever. I don't know. We'll see. But you can do all, my ex, when she first started making these, they were like super popular before I was even in business. I bought a dozen of hers, and she had like s'mores, cookies and cream. I don't even remember all the flavors she had. She had a dozen, and they were all different flavors, like super gourmet type of thing. She was selling them to a coffee shop. They were buying them wholesale, but she can't make them like I can. I got a system down to I can crank these things out like nobody's business. I probably make hot cocoa bombs faster than anybody, I bet you, unless they got some type of like fancy ass machine. But by hand, nobody. $4 each for a 6-pack, good price. Yeah, that's what I think. And then $5 each for the 4-pack, and then $7 each for the singles. And they are going to still buy the singles for $7 because the boxes that they're in are really cool. They're little single boxes. They're like little cupcake boxes. I've got white ones with blue polka dots, kind of like a wintry Wonderland theme. And then I've got some that just say, excuse me, Merry Christmas on them. Kind of like these. But they're green and red. They're really pretty. The best part is I had all these boxes already left over from, the last couple of years, just buying way too much stuff. So I didn't have to spend any money on those boxes, which is awesome. All right. Well, let's see here. Do I have my coffee? Nope. I'm not prepared because I was working all morning. I'm going to play GeoChamp for a little bit. Let's see here. My goal is to learn all the countries like the back of my hand, which I can do. It's just going to take me a minute. I already know a lot of them, but not all of them. Probably about half of them. Taiwan. Let's see here. Big day for today, this afternoon. What's up, Coach Rain? Good morning. Big day for today, this afternoon. What's going on today? What's the haps? Hold on, my screen's all messed up here. Here we go. All right. Taiwan. Taiwan is right off the coast of China. Isn't that where they make all the chips at? Now the Seychelles one I know because I keep getting it wrong. I'm not going to get it wrong this time. And I don't remember what these islands were called, but I know this thing right here, just because it's been on the last few ones, is whatever this is called, Seychelles. Capital Victoria. I think I already had that one. I missed that one like 100 times, literally. I got that one wrong. Finally, my brain finally remembers where it's at. Ecuador. Is this Ecuador? Colombia? Yeah. Bolivia, Peru, Ecuador. Quito is the capital. Oh, big day for well, did you see they responded? I don't know if you've seen that, Coach Rain. They said December 15th. So I just read a text. Let me see here. Man, they finally did. The sneaky motherfuckers took $84 from me, and now I can't get it back. I tried to cancel my subscription, and I'm not going to get my money back. So they got my $84 for a year. And I think it's like, I don't even know what I'm paying for. I think it's for like ad free, maybe. I don't fucking know. Keep my money, you greedy motherfuckers. Let's see here. Blake Neff, 4 hours ago, put the live stream we announced on the show Wednesday has been set at 4 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. local time on Monday, December 15th. A collection of Charlie's friends will respond to statements made by real Candace Owens to set the record straight once and for all prior to the opening of America Fest. We'll be live streaming from Charlie's Phoenix studio. Our offer from yesterday holds. If Candace wishes to join us in person in Phoenix, she is welcome to do so. She can let us know by the end of today. I mean, what kind of bullshit is that? December 15th. And is that, I mean, can it get any more fucking, let's dog whistle your fucking assassination friends? 4 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. local, December 15th. You know what I mean? Numbers. They can go get fucked. But yeah, I'm not sure. You don't have X. Yeah. So that's what they said. That's what Blake Neff said. And I didn't connect the dots about, so Blake Neff is the one that Candace, I think you would know this. He's the bald guy, right? That's always on the computer. He's the one that she said was going around wanting to screw all the young male interns. So he's a gay little pedophile guy. I should have known. He looks like one. But this is the guy that she's talking about. Unbelievable. That whole, and Turning Point's supposed to be like a Christian faith-based. It is him, right? Yeah. And they're supposed to be like a Christian, they're always quoting scriptures and stuff, but he's back there trying to fuck the young interns and shit. What the hell? I mean, come on, man. Ugh. Probably corner him, hey, you want to get up in this company? You don't want to end up like Charlie, do you? Huh? You want to end up on the podcast with us? It's just fucking, you just can't make it up. Sweden, let's see here. Sweden. I always get these ones mixed up. Norway, I know, is right here. So it's I think this is Sweden. Nope. Sweden is in the middle, and Finland is next to Russia. Okay. Haiti. Oh, yeah. Okay. Right here. Dominican Republic, Haiti, and Edwin. So it goes Haiti, Dominican Republic, and Edwin. So Haiti. Yeah. Population, Sweden. Okay, we're getting another one. Another chance at redemption. Sweden. Sweden was in the middle. All right. Goes Norway, Sweden, Finland, Russia, Iceland, Greenland. Let's see here. Play a few more. Jamaica. These ones are all, if they're in our hemisphere. Let's see here. Jamaica. Down here. Capital is Kingston. Germany. Right here. Afghanistan. Is this Afghanistan? No. This is Pakistan. This must be Afghanistan right here. Yeah. I always know India fights with Pakistan. So I know they're right next to each other. And Pakistan is next to Afghanistan. Greece. Greece is easy. Iceland, we know where that's at. France, that's where people make phone calls to have people podcasters assassinated. France, where the president is married to a woman who has a dick. That's France. Egypt. That's where they have planes that fly around tracking people that they want to assassinate. Egypt. That's where they have planes that track podcasters around that go under tent saying "prove me wrong," and they want to blow their neck apart. That's Egypt. Oh, and they also have pyramids. Let's see here. What else do we have? Let's do a couple more. We'll do 3 more. United Kingdom. The United Kingdom is where they let all the Muslims in, and they will put you in jail for making a Facebook post. Somalia. Yes, Somalia. I have a video on Somalia. Somalia is the country where they come to the United States and they work at the Hormel turkey plant and they shit in the food and piss in the food. Did you guys know that? That they actually have to have safety meetings about how to wipe your ass and where to go to the bathroom and how to wash your hands, but they don't give a shit, literally and figuratively. So if you're eating anything with turkey from the grocery store, you need to watch these stories that we're going to play. That's Somalia. Oh, yeah, and they have pirates. And they shoot down our military helicopters, our Blackhawks. Is there anything good that ever came from Somalia? I'm not trying to be like Donald Trump, but he is right. It's just a shit country. Capital is Mogadishu. 17 million. Colombia. Colombia is going to be in the news here pretty soon after they go. This is right next to Venezuela. Right? I keep saying that they want Bolivia. To me, that's where they're really trying to get to, is down here. That's where the lithium mines are, or the lithium flats. Colombia. All right, that's enough for now. Turkey, that's a good one to stop on. Because we were just talking about Turkey. Oh, yeah. Where's Turkey at? Turkey. I think that's Turkey. All right. Stephen Mornello, good morning, sir. Good to see you. Man, it's already December 4th. 2026 is upon us already. Not that we give a shit, right? What are we looking forward to? Like AI and getting all of us getting older. At our age now, it's like, holy shit, slow down, please. They say, as time flies as you get older. And it's true. Like I seen this thing where like when you turn 5, that 1 year represents 20% of your life. But when you're 50, 1 year represents 2% of your life. And when you're 100, it represents 1% of your life. So, every year, each year represents less of a percent of your life. And so therefore it just does literally each year, it just goes faster and faster and faster. It's crazy. Time does fly, right? And you just, and there's nothing you can do about it. Like you can be conscious about it, and you literally just start wasting your time worrying about time flying, or I should have did this or I should have did that. You just got to take it as it is and keep it moving. I mean, that's just my philosophy. It's weird because I need no more of a reminder than to go to my storage unit and see all of my mom's stuff in the storage unit. And I've done it live on the YouTube before. And it's just like, it hits you like a punch in the gut. It's like, you just immediately are looking in the rearview mirror. Even you just looking at that stuff, you just get transformed back. And it's fun to do, but I don't know. You guys know what I'm talking about. Parents dying and stuff like that. Hold on, I got to clear my throat. I need to get some more honey. I have an event on, when is that? The 13th. So next Saturday. And the guy that's running the event is the guy that I always get the ginger honey from. But I haven't seen him since the last farmer's market, which ended in October. So I need some ginger honey bad. I know I could probably get it somewhere else, but yeah, time does fly, right? Let me load up X here real quick. We'll get to you in a minute, you fucking motherfucker. Tim Pool. Tim Pool is he is such a worthless part of YouTube. He's, for me personally, if there is absolutely nothing on, and I mean nothing, and I'm so lazy that I don't even want to be like, just proactive and do my own thing and type something in and find something to watch, and I just want to be a complete lazy fuck, once out of 5% of that time when I'm just a complete lazy fuck, I'll hit his button and listen to what he has to say for like 3 minutes until he just completely makes me sick. Serious question. Do the macaroons have children together? It's a good question, Sweetie. Let's look it up. Because I think there was like, she won't produce pictures of her being pregnant, maybe. I don't know. Does Emmanuel and Brigitte Macaroon have children together? And if so, how is that possible if they both have cocks? We'll see what that says. We'll see what they say to that. It's taken forever. What is it? Something that I said? Let me ask it again. It won't answer me. Does Brigitte Macaroon and Emmanuel Macaroon from France have children together? What happened? Well, it completely froze on me. Yeah, she is a lot older. Yeah, I don't think ChatGPT liked what I said there. It completely told me to go fuck myself, I think. Yeah. Hold on. Now let's see here. Here we go. No, they do not have children together. Brigitte Macron has 3 children: Sebastian Azur, Lawrence Azur Jordan, and Tifahin Azur from a previous marriage. Emmanuel Macron has publicly stated that he and Brigitte have no biological children together. Wait, what? What? Hold on, what? Oh, that's right, because she was 39 when he was 14. So she already had 3 children, if you know, and that's if you're believing that story, you know what I mean? But that's best case scenario. Best case scenario, she's 39, she's married with children, maybe divorced, and then maybe she's married, divorced at the time, I don't know, and falls in love with a 14-year-old student. I'm a few minutes behind because I pause when I dry my hair. You did it again, Osada. Made me laugh with the comment about having meetings about where to sit. It's true, sweet tea. I'm about to show you. I wish I was joking. I mean, and I'll tell you, when I went road tripping the one time with my buddy in his semi truck, when he got the brand new semi truck, we went to a couple of places, where you can't even get out. You can't do nothing. You back in and the light comes on. You can't even get out of the truck, and you back right up to that door, and you can't even see the door open. You don't see no people, no nothing. You just talk to them, and then the light turns, red while they're doing it, and then once it turns green again, you pull out and you leave. Everything's already shut. You don't see nothing. And some of those plants, when you just pull in, like we went to a Tyson chicken plant, it's so disgustingly putrid, the smell. It's hard to describe. I mean, I don't even walk by that aisle no more. The frozen, you know what I mean? Like, it's just disgusting. His school teacher. Yeah, it was his school teacher. I would like to see if I can find a yearbook from the school where Macaroon was a teacher and see if her picture is in it. Yeah, should definitely, if you're interested in all that, you got to listen to Candace's series on that because, she just doesn't talk about things, because she got sued several times by these people. And I think there's a $50 million lawsuit right now. And she wants to know where Brigitte Macron was for the 6 days leading up to Charlie's assassination because she disappeared off the radar for 6 days. She brings receipts. She's got she takes us back to, they're talking about Jean. She was I don't know. I can't remember the whole story, but it has to do with MK Ultra and a prisoner and truth is always stranger than fiction. Yeah, the Mac. I don't know if it's Macron or Macron. How to say it exactly? I think it's Macron. It's the French president Emmanuel Macron, and then his wife Brigitte, Candace Owens, and a lot of us, including myself, believe that she was a man. And you don't even have to know all the facts. Just based on their reactions to, how this is all played out, they're guilty as hell. And even if we don't even if we say that, nope, that's not true. Okay, let's just go with, I've said this before. Let's just say that that's not true, that she was a woman. Okay, she had 3 kids or whatever. The fact is, though, is that she was 39 years old as a school teacher, and she fell in love with her 14-year-old student. And they're now married as the, president and first lady of France. So we have a pedophile who is, a pedophile and the pedophile's victim are the leadership in France right now. I mean, that's a fact. She already had 3 kids and was already married, and he was 14. That's Mary Kay Letourneau. That same thing happened here in Washington State. There was a school teacher, Mary Kay Letourneau, and she fell in love with I can't remember his name, like Justin something, or God, I can't remember what his name was. But and then she got probation, and then when she was on probation, she got pregnant with this kid, and then she went to prison, and somehow I think she got pregnant again, and she ended up dying of cancer or something not too long ago. But that's what that's just perfect example of how they don't play by the same rules that we do. You know what I mean? Because I'm in total disagreement with what Mary Kay Letourneau did. I think that it was very creepy and disturbing. And, he ended up loving her and whatever. I mean, maybe it's, I don't even know how to process that. I think that that's the way it should be, that, you should go to prison if you're a school teacher and you have sex with your student. That's the bare minimum, and then you get to the point like all the way up to the death penalty in my book that afternoon. So how is it that these people can get married and just, become leadership in the world? And it's the same exact age and scenario as Mary Kay Letourneau and that other guy. It just doesn't make no sense, Yeah, Becoming Brigitte series explains everything. Yeah. How is it possible they both have cocks? You were going to have me wiping my makeup off. Sweetie, I'm telling you, she is a man. Now, we all know that they can do miracles, in the operating room. They could do that to a confused kid. They could do it right here in Tacoma, Washington. I think they put it on pause now, I don't know what's going on. But literally within walking distance of my house, I could be there in 20 minutes to a hospital that will cut all your genitals off and make you whatever they will fucking chop you up. And you can look it up, Mary Bridge Children's Hospital for Tacoma General. And that, unfortunately, is the hospital I was born at. Hopefully they didn't do no fucking creepy shit to me when I was fucking with it. Did you see how she smoked him? Smacked him, yes. Yep. She gave him the old right cross. Let's see if we can find that. Can't type for shit today. Can I make this a little bigger? So, just imagine you are 14 and you are in class and you are writing, you got your paper, you got your brown paper book cover that you're writing Aerosmith on and colored in with the pencils and, calling the kid behind you a faggot and this kind of stuff, talking about fucking, who knows what. And your school teachers come around picking up your papers, and then 30 years later, this is you getting socked by that fucking teacher on the national stage. And, she does look like a man. That's how they arrived in Vietnam to start their tour of Asia. Golly, man. Oof. Ooh-wee. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Co-Train. That's probably a maneuver that she had to work on. She's got that down pat. At one point, there was a class with her and Wild Bill from Silence of the Lambs. It puts lotion on its skin, or it gets the hose again. You know how he was fucking dancing in the mirror, fucking his balls tucked? So it was those two and Jeffree Star, that weird fucking trans guy with the pink hair, and probably Mr. Beast, So I'm guessing maybe Saddam Hussein. Oh, how I need a good laugh. Yes. Yeah, it's, I'm telling you guys, like, Candace, it's not, I know everybody doesn't have time in the day for everything, but Co-Train knows, like, I mean, it's, if you are dialed into like what's really going on in America, like if you really want to cut through the fucking bullshit and you're just tired of being fucking lied to, and this is our chance right here. This is like a fucking dagger in the heart of the fucking beast, man. If Candace can fucking pull this off. Because, we all know 9/11 was a fucking scam. I've been screaming it for years, but there's nothing I can fucking do about it. You know what I mean? I don't have the fucking skills to, expose those people. It's never going to happen. We all know that those buildings came down free fall speed. We all know Building 7 can't fucking come down like that. I mean, we could talk this whole show about 9/11, how fucking stupid it is, how stupid you have to be to believe that those buildings came down from airplanes. I mean, you just really have to be clinically retarded. I'm sorry. You just do. So this is our one chance because Charlie Kirk was publicly assassinated, not by Tyler Robinson. We all know that. Not by Tyler Robinson, not by a 30-06. And is Tyler Robinson even a real person? And why the fuck do they keep, quote unquote, predicting shit in The Simpsons? How is that possible? It's because everything is being read from a script. Everything. And I mean everything. All of the world is a stage. Nothing is by chance. They've been doing this a long time. This is nothing new. They just keep rinsing and repeating. And they just get better at doing it, but now it's gotten to the point where I don't think they realize that the connectivity that we all have is going to be their downfall. We're going to be able to use AI against them, immediately. They think that AI is going to be able to control us, but we're going to collectively be able to use AI against the establishment. I really feel that. I feel like, like, for example, why would you want to buy something, pay more for something if you don't have to? We'll be using AI to direct to like that guy was talking about the corn, how he's selling it directly to hunters and stuff like that. That's what's up. And we can use AI for all that stuff. We don't even need to be on there searching. We don't have time to do all that shit. AI is going to be able to do all that for us. So, I mean, How do you not have any trace of existing in your formative years? Exactly. Yeah, just come. Exactly. You, we know. I got to skip the chat, guys. Yeah, co-train. It's the most creepiest shit ever. So I don't know if I bookmarked the video, but I'll find it, because we do. We have a blood-soaked mattress coming out of a tunnel that this Messiah, the Jewish community, used to try to bring back some rabbi as a Messiah. And so what they do is they take a body and put it on a mattress, and they perform a ceremony on it, and they will make incisions, and there will be blood that comes out of it. And they don't, this is some fucking shit, man. It really like hits you in your fucking soul when you hear it, because nothing on the surface is what it is. So like, are all of these kids that were like kidnapped and stuff like that, is their blood being drained out? I'm not saying it's happening on that mattress. I'm just saying, like, if publicly, because you might as well say that that's publicly, because it's not, not, again, nothing is by chance. They want you to know that. They want us to know that. Otherwise, they would never, there's so many secrets in the world that will never be exposed. Never. People die with secrets. And so the ones that are exposed are because they want them to be exposed. You know what I mean? So let me see if I can find that real quick.
A lot of crazy conspiracy theories. I don't want to go down any tasteless rabbit holes. But David, if you could explain, why was there a mattress in the tunnels, and what is the stain? A lot of folks are wondering, is this stain feces?
No, it's not feces.
What
The
is
stain is blood, and basically we did rituals. I said that before. There were some rituals that we do in the tunnels, and sometimes the rituals might involve someone who recently died, and we'll bring him down there, and we're trying to do a ritual to bring back the Messiah, which is a Schneerson, if you heard about him on the news. So he died many years ago, but we have rituals that we believe we can bring him back. And so
how do these rituals
work? That the main guy who was sort of instructing on the tunnels?
Well, that was a long time. He's like the head. He's the head rabbi, and he's the guy that we look for direction.
Right, and the news was saying that he is potentially not passed on.
Right, that's right. So we don't know that, so we try to do rituals to try to
bring him back.
Correct, exactly.
So how do these? Can you explain the rituals, and why does it involve a mattress?
I don't want to go to the details of the rituals, but basically we don't put the body on the floor. We put the body on the mattress, and sometimes we might make an incision somewhere on the body, and a little bit of blood will come out. But I don't want to go into the details.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, you mentioned when we talked on the phone that you brought a book.
That's fair.
Yes, this is the type of book I bought, and this is the type of book that describes different types of rituals and things of that nature.
So how does that, can you explain the book?
Well, it's too detailed to go through the book. It's a detailed book. But I suggest, if you have a chance and you want to get the
I suggest if you have a chance, read this book that I'm not going to show you.
Book, you can read it.
The Book of Living and Dying.
Yes, the Tibetan Book of Living and Dying.
So where did you guys learn? You guys use this for the rituals? Is this an ancient Judaism thing?
No, we use some different books.
In a nutshell, what is the book? What was it called again? The Book of Living and Dying?
Can you explain the book?
Well, it's too detailed to go through the book. It's a detailed book. But I suggest, if you have a chance and you want to get the book, you can read it.
The Book of Living and Dying.
Yes.
What is the Book of Living and Dying about? I'm asking ChatGPT real quick. The Tibetan Book of Living and Dying by Sagyo published in 92. The Tibetan Book of the Dead, Understanding Death to Transform Life. The Nature of Consciousness, Life, Dying, After Death Transition, Rebirth, Preparing for Death with Awareness, Meditation, Compassion Practices, Helping Others Die. A major section focuses on how to support people who are dying, how to sit with them, how to reduce fear, how to help them die peacefully. It's not a book of doom. It's a manual for peaceful living, using the lens of death to guide inner peace, meaningful relationships, spiritual clarity. Using the lens of death to guide. What the fuck? I don't know, guys. Your guess is as good as mine on that one. Osada, what's that sign behind them about 9/11 is gay with the rainbow? There's a podcaster that has a sign behind them that says 9/11 is gay with a rainbow. What does that mean? Let's see. I quit paying for the Chat GPT's premium, so they always take forever now. Let's see here. It's not saying 9/11 was LGBT related. It's just using the word gay in the old internet slang, meaning absurd, ridiculous, over dramatized, not to be taken seriously. It's intentionally offensive on purpose because the joke is the clash. 9/11 was a sacred, tragic event. No, it wasn't. It was an inside fucking job by our own government, which is Israel, and rainbow gay imagery. Huh. Interesting. Not sure, Co-Train. I'm more confused now than when I went down that rabbit hole. Garth from Wayne's World is the host, right? Exactly. That's who it looks like. I'm not going to go into detail, but buy the book. Exactly. Yeah, just buy the book. Buy the book, and you too can take your friends down in a tunnel, find a body, lay them on the mattress, and make incisions. Yeah. Very, very, very strange. Tibetan, not Jewish. I don't know. You know, it said Tibetan, and that guy's obviously Jewish. Very, very strange. There's always levels to everything, right? You know, we're only, our ceiling of knowledge only goes so high. Other people, their knowledge goes a little higher. Just is what it is. All right, let's see here. Let's get out of this. You know what I'm going to do? I want to play Candace real quick. I want to play the beginning of her show real quick. Just a couple minutes of it. So let me get to it. She just said, it's happening. Everybody stay calm, meaning that they're calling, they're going to offer to do a live stream with her. She's been asking Turning Point USA to explain themselves. And they finally have agreed, even though now they're saying it's going to be December 15th. But it's just very interesting. She goes hard in the paint right off the bat. So I'm going to go grab my coffee real quick after I start this video. And I'll be right back. This is literally must-see TV. This is the hottest. She is the number one podcast in the world right now. In October, she made $130,000 on super chats alone. So she's killing it. But it's not about the money for her. Everybody wants to attack her and say, you know, like, we'll play Tim Pool too, that little fucking weasel motherfucker. But we got to protect Candace. I think she is the most important Black woman to ever live. I honestly believe that. And I mean that with like the utmost respect. Oprah pales in comparison to Candace Owens. She is the modern day Oprah.
After yesterday's episode, where we went kind of for the jugular with Turning Point USA, because really, I think everybody in the entire world has had enough with the non-response, trying to move on, trying to gaslight us, not answering basic details. So we just went for it. And guess what? Turning Point has moved to formally respond to all the things that we have said. And after a very long diatribe in which they wildly misrepresent the public and global investigation of Charlie Kirk's assassination, they at long last issued a public invitation or a challenge. I'm not sure what it is, but I accept. Okay. Quite literally, all we have ever asked for were sensible answers to our basic questions about what transpired on September 10th. And it looks like we're going to get those things. So major win. I am excited. Also, later on in the show, what I have for you is The Game, whose rapper is releasing a song that is entitled The Assassination of Candace Owens. And I have more questions. I've got questions. Am I allowed to have questions? Welcome back to Candace. What can I say other than we went max? Pause, reflect. I'm proud of everybody. I'm proud of the world. Every single person who was in my inbox giving me tips, the people inside of Turning Point USA who were leaking, the donors that wrote public letters, the donors that didn't write public letters but sent us messages encouraging us to keep going. Today feels like a win because guess what? It forced Turning Point USA to finally respond, and that was the entire point, okay? That has been the point of refusing to let up even 1 second in this investigation. They wanted to simply be able to eulogize Charlie Kirk at a big memorial event, and then they wanted us to simply move on. And we didn't do that, okay? So yeah, we should celebrate the fact that we kept up the pressure, that we insisted that we have answers, that even in this tremendous culture of ADHD and everyone's constantly being distracted by their iPhones, that we kept the focus, okay? Turning Point is going to commit to a live streamed event where they are apparently going to answer all of these lingering questions. And I would say these were pretty basic questions right out of the gate. Why they didn't do that right out of the gate, nobody knows. We can hear them, their explanation for why they didn't in just a moment, because they send.
We're not going to play the mute minute today either, Coach Ryan. I'm not saying it won't happen again because I guarantee it will, but it's not going to happen today, hopefully. ADHD, yeah. So I am going to move ahead to the part where Blake Neff starts. I don't know if she called him out for being gay. Did she call him out for being gay? She reacted to the creepy bald guy yesterday in this episode, trying to debunk. Yes. So we're going to play that. We're going to play that right now, Coach Ray. Let me get to it.
But I don't fault him that. We'll pause at certain moments because I do want to be able to respond throughout it. It's a bit long, but I want to give them my platform as I always have made that offer to. So here is Blake Neff.
Ever since Charlie's murder, Candace Owens has leveled a flood of allegations against people at Turning Point USA, people at Turning Point Action, and people who work for this show. She's made them against some of Charlie's closest friends and against some of his most dedicated employees.
Yes.
Sorry, Coach Rainey, I left the room for a second. I went to go make some coffee. My bad.
She has suggested that Michael McCoy, Charlie's chief of staff, knew Charlie would be murdered was happy that he died, and stayed silent because he was told he would be the next Charlie. She has suggested Michael is not his real name. It is. I have seen his birth certificate myself. She has called it suspicious that Mikey's wife, who works at Turning Point, helped plan the campus tour event where Charlie was murdered, which she didn't, by the way. She doesn't work on campus events.
Okay, so first and foremost, I actually never said that she helped plan the event. I said it was suspicious that Mikey McCoy's wife, that we never found out who did plan the event. That was one of the answers that we wanted to know. And I said that she works in events. Still was not clear on what happened regarding Mikey McCoy. I think the entire world believes that his actions are suspicious because we have eyes, and you don't get to wiggle out of that by pretending that us playing the words of his own father, Rob McCoy, who I think is highly suspicious in all of this. He has a suspicious background. We played his own words as he tried to sanitize someone who spent time in prison for being a sexual deviant, right? For trying to take photos of young girls. I don't think he's a good guy, and you're not going to make us forget those things because you are trying to pretend that Mikey's actions were totally normal that day. They weren't. That's why I didn't make the public feel that way, okay? I may have voiced how they felt, which everyone else is refusing to do, but I do believe that Mikey McCoy should have to answer for who he had on the phone right when the shot went off. So yeah, his own father, is the one that spoke about Charlie's notebooks and spoke about how Mikey McCoy was talented. And it was Mikey McCoy who then jumped on Liberty University's stage for an event that was scheduled for Charlie Kirk. So there you go. That's our perspective, and I'm going to stand by it. Let's keep it rolling.
Uh-oh, sweet tea. Full moon, huh? That sucks. Yeah, I mean, the threat of a false flag right now, the whole thing with like that guy in the Afghan that shot those two National Guards. They're not talking about that. That guy was like, he wasn't an ordinary Afghan. He was highly vetted, like the highest vetted. He trained with the CIA. Like he was not a nobody. That dude that killed those two guards, he was like high level CIA level fucking Afghan guy. He's the highest level Afghan that there is. And they're kind of burying that story, which is really weird. So anyway, I don't know if that has anything to do with the full moon, but let's get back to Candace.
Candace has suggested the Utah Valley University event was unusual, and its details suggested a, quote, inside job.
It was unusual. That's a fact. And you can quote me on that because I worked for Turning Point USA, and I went on every tour since 2019. And typically those events are decided at least the semester before. This came together very quickly. It is unusual. And I don't know why you think that you are going to be able to disprove that notion when I have the emails to support that claim. Let's keep it rolling.
Good morning,
she has claimed that foreign aircraft have followed Erica Kirk around the country and that Turning Point has lied about this happening.
Definitely never said Turning Point lied because you never responded. So that doesn't actually make any sense. And this is why it's not good to have lawyers write things out, because sometimes they're not so detail oriented. What we did was we showed at first that when I plotted these strange Egyptian jets, that they were following Charlie. And that was a concern because I wondered if they were tracking Charlie. We then obviously realized that they were tracking TPUSA faith events, and that many more times they were following and perhaps tracking Erica. You should be concerned about that. We find it odd that rather than being concerned or trying to get answers to why a foreign military jet would be on the ground during a time when Charlie Kirk was assassinated, you're upset with us for asking questions about these jets. Let's keep rolling.
You're right. None of it does make sense, Coach Rain. None of it does. And, she's really smart by, she immediately just freestyles what this guy is reading from a script from his lawyers already, So she's already, you know, pushing back on a lot of things, and so before they even have the debate, so they can't fucking filibuster her, basically. You know, that's what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to filibuster the whole fucking debate, and so she's getting through a lot of the fucking, you know, facts and the fucking rumors and all or whatever right now. She doesn't need lawyers. She can do it right. She doesn't need to look at her fucking monitor. She just fucking can tell them exactly. I mean, they are going to get smoked. I don't see the debate happening. Honestly, I don't see it happening. And if it does, we're not going to get what we want out of it. You know what I mean? They're playing poker right now, and they're bluffing. That's my thing. She's got her ducks in a row. She's got a timeline.
She has accused us of lying about Charlie wanting Erica to take over for him if he died.
Never happened. That is not a quotation. That is just them saying that. So let's keep rolling.
She has suggested Charlie's security team intentionally denied him first aid after the shooting to ensure that he died.
When you say suggested, it means that they are interpreting my words. What I said is another fact. They did not issue him first aid when he fell down. There was nobody who pulled out any gauze and tried to stop the bleeding. And they've admitted to that. In a sit down with Sean Ryan, Brian Harpole said it was because of the severity of the injury. I'm sorry again that we noticed something that stood out as unusual, given the expertise and the amount of money that he was paying that supposed to be an elite team. Let's keep rolling.
She has raised suspicions about the head of our technical team because he took an SD card out of a camera. She has spread absurd claims that Tyler Boyer, who we just had on the show, sexually abuses male interns.
Okay, so yes, the SD card thing is unbelievably suspicious. It's not something that you would do. Neither would you just run up onto a grassy knoll and record yourself. Again, these are unusual actions. And rather than trying to pretend like it's normal to record a selfie video of yourself and
Yeah, I mean, when, you know, and of course they've already highly edited all those videos. I do have a post where now that they've agreed to a live debate, they've showed they have a high definition video that they want to show, or that's on. I don't know if it really shows anything. I didn't really get too much into it yet, but yeah, if I had to bet money, I would say that the debate's not going to happen just because they're bluffing. But when Charlie got shot, it was the weirdest fucking, I mean, it's complete, to me personally, it's completely obvious that was, that everybody around him literally knew that was about to happen. They reacted exactly like they knew it was going to happen. And everything they've done since makes them guilty as fuck. It's not even a question in my mind. So, and then when I hear people like Tim Pool's bitch ass come out and say, excuse my language, forget I'm on YouTube sometimes. When he comes out and says the things he does, oh man, I hope somebody smacks the shit out of that guy. He's such a fake. People like him and Ben Shapiro, they're just such frauds. They're just absolute. They're the problem, you know, people like them. They literally are the problem. It's been 3 months and most people have moved on. They don't want to rehash the conspiracy. 100%, you know, it's like 9/11, JFK, all of it, you know, but this is going to go down. If this debate happens, it will be the most viewed debate in history by far. It'll be the most single watched event in history. You know, it's got to be, you know. This is gonna, you know, this is gonna catch steam between now and the 15th like nobody's ever seen before. This is just my opinion. You know, I think it is going to make mainstream news, you know. And it's crazy because everybody's in on it. You know, our entire government is complicit in this thing. You know, our FBI said that it was a 30-06 when we know damn well it wasn't. There's no fucking way it was a 30-06. That alone is just a line in the sand for me. I'm like, fuck you guys. If you're gonna lie about that, you're lying about fucking everything. You know, not to mention everything those weirdos fucking did at the second that shot, if that's what it was, that crack, as they call it, goes off. They don't call it a blast, they call it crack. Everything they do is fucking weird. And she's right, they didn't apply. I mean, 101, I mean, any fucking idiot that has any type of basic medical training knows you don't move somebody with a neck injury like that. You got to get a fucking stretcher, at least a stretch board or something, you know. That would have been the reason, priority number one, why not to move him into an SUV and wait for an ambulance. Or the ambulance should have already been there. They should have very at least had a stretcher, a stretch board, you know, like a lifeguard has. Any fucking pool has a stretch board, you know what I mean, to put somebody on. Every high school lifeguard would have known how to address Charlie Kirk better, you know, than those motherfuckers. It's just fucking pathetic. I hope Candace doesn't travel to them. 100%, sweet tea. I mean, that video that they played, you know, is just bone chilling. Where that guy, you know, his face was covered, but he was warning Candace that they were going to assassinate her live on YouTube. I mean, I don't know if you want to call it an assassination, that would murder her live on YouTube. And they have a blade expert from France that was going to cut her open live on YouTube in front of all of us and traumatize all of us. And then, like, they went into graphic detail. I mean, that's some fucking sick shit, man. So, yeah, no, she doesn't need to be traveling to Phoenix. But at the same time, Candace is holding some cards that, you know, she literally has to get. It's weird how the government's working. You know, like the one chick that I really can't stand, that, and Candace will tell you too, is like the lady literally can't even own a gun. She's mentally insane. It's Laura Loomer. Well, Laura Loomer now has a press pass inside of the Pentagon. She's got CIA access. How the fuck does that happen? And she was on Alex Jones yesterday from the Pentagon and talking about how they used the CIA is, you know, not one organization. There's different factions, and they were talking about how that DC was a setup. The whole thing was a setup. They knew it was going to happen. You know, it's like factions of the government are fighting amongst each other. So, and they're setting Trump up too. But it's just crazy to think that Laura Loomer is in the Pentagon. This is the world we live in right now. You know, these YouTubers are no joke. You know, for years we didn't realize how much influence that newscasters had, that they were actually part of the fucking political influence. They weren't just, you know. So now it's people like even Joe Rogan, even though he's kind of a shill, but definitely Candace Owens, Tucker, Megyn Kelly. They have serious power. You know, the influence. If you're an influencer on YouTube, you know, you have a lot of power. And with that power comes responsibility, and also comes danger. YouTube has been banning and taking massive amounts of views and money from people. They want to phase out long form video and go to AI shorts. Yeah. You know, that's why I've never wanted to put any stock into YouTube monetarily, you know, like other than, you know, now I pay $44 a month for StreamYard, which that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about like counting on money from social media. You know, I know people that make money on social media, and once in a while I think to myself, like, man, you should really do that with all the stuff that you make. You know, your pictures alone that you put up from, you know, like just the hot cocoa bombs and stuff. Something just in my gut tells me not to do it. I want to stay old school. What I did today makes me happy. Get up early. You know, I made a few $100s worth of product this morning. I'm going to do it again, you know, at least one more time this afternoon, put in a few more hours, and, you know, go out and sell. What's today? Thursday? Yeah. And I go out and sell tomorrow. Hands on, you know, people look at it physically and, you know, I hand it to them, and then they can come back and tell me to my face if there was anything wrong with it, whether they loved it, you know what I mean? And that's what I've been doing for years. And I that's just the way I liked it. To have to worry about somebody that you don't even know who they are, you have no control over your view count. I don't want to live like that. Even if it was huge amounts of money, I don't care. I just want control of everything when it comes to that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? To truly be like financially free, you have to have total control over how you make your money. And if you're counting on YouTube, but you know, people get to a level like, I mean, there's people out there, they're making so much money on YouTube that what I'm saying don't even make no sense. Like they do it for a few years and they can just sail off into the sunset, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. To each their own, you know, and I'm sure it takes a lot of work to get to that point. You know, it's hard enough to even, you know, consistently come on at a certain time, you know, and I do it just because you know, this is what I like to do. And I'm up at this hour and, you know, it just works for me for now. But if I get to the point where, you know, my business requires me to like, either I, you know, have to be sleeping right now or working right now, then that's what I would be doing, you know, and it just would be it, you know, and I could probably still pivot to where I could go live from the kitchen and, you know, just talk about what's going on type of thing and not be able to share the videos or whatever. I don't know. I'm just rambling. Apply gauze to what? There was no blood. Yeah, right, Sweet Tea? They did panic, even though they get paid millions of dollars and trained for that kind of thing. You know, Charlie had, you know, they were like high level security, trained in high level. You know, they're ex-military. You know, they're used to people getting their legs blown off, and you know, they probably all have treated, you know, amputees. You know, like right there on the, you know, battlefield where they're just, you know, sand and shit in their fucking, you know, guts pouring out and, you know, bullets flying over their head. They've been through that shit. This was a walk in the park. They knew exactly what to do, and that's not what happened. Not to mention all of the other weird shit that is just, you know, it's just so much fucked up shit. Like George Zinn, for example, the guy whose fucking pants fall down. That motherfucker's pants fall down, and he says, I did it. And they arrest that, you know, the old guy, and now he's in jail with child, you know, kiddie material on his computer they found. So they arrested him for that. Now, I mean, the stories just keep getting, but again, I'm not getting past the 30-06. That alone. Hopefully Cash Patel gets fired pretty soon. You know what I mean? Like, he needs to go. He is such a pathetic, the worst. You know, I would almost rather have a corrupt deep stater, you know, that at least didn't have bug eyes and wasn't a Punjabi. You know, some street vendor, some Indian street vendor that washes his food with his feet is our FBI director. I mean, get the fuck out of here, Cash Patel. Go be a contestant on Slumdog Millionaire. How about that? How about that, you fucking fuck? They underestimated her and her loyalty. Yeah, they definitely are they know now. They know what time it is now. They definitely know what time it is now. She told them, I want war with all of you, and she meant it. Because she's not working alone either. But she has the talent that can't be stopped. She is Charlie Kirk. You know, she could go out there and do prove me wrong all day long, just like he did. Now, but he was more, you know, it takes, you know, there's a borderline between success and psychosis. And his borderline was a very, very thin line. You know, she's a little bit more reserved, even though they're trying to make her of a, you know, crazy person, you know. Yeah, is it crazy to say that the First Lady of France has a dick? Yeah, even all of us, when we first heard that, we're like, okay, you know, we're sick of these fucking stories. Well, lo and behold, you know, all you have to do is listen to Candace for a little bit. And you know what's crazy is they come online and they'll tell you all these people like Tim Pool and other people, you know, Candace Owens goes online and then everybody listens to her, you know, and they start believing what she says. They act like, you know, that we're so ignorant, you know, like we're just sheeple and we believe the stupidest shit. You know what I mean? We're over it. We're done. We're tired of the fucking lies. These guys are getting exposed left and right. The layers are being peeled and their whole fucking system is collapsing. And it really is, you know, in real time. So, but they're dirty, dirty, dirty motherfuckers and they ain't going nowhere. They're just going to fucking keep pivoting and fucking do whatever they do. They'll start dropping bombs and killing people if they have to. They'll release more viruses. They'll, you know, whatever. They're going to do whatever they have to do. It's just, the world's fucked up sometimes. Doesn't Candace have some kind of security? Oh yeah, I'm sure she's got, you know, national security. I'm sure she's got some type of secret service on her right now, because the government is involved. They're not talking about it too much, but they are involved. They're scared, and that's why she has to be careful. 100%. Yep. And you know, because the thing is too, we don't even know who's who, who's a double agent, who's a deep state actor. You know, some of them are easy to spot, but you know, somebody could literally be holding a knife that she trusts. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure she doesn't trust very many people. I wouldn't either. But you know, as they say, there's more than one way to skin a cat. And that is a fucking fucked up thing to say right now. Based on that video that they played. You know, I mean, I don't even want my mind to think, you know, how I would feel if they killed Candace. Like, it just, I would hope that it would start a fucking, you know, if they want war, if they want civil war, you know, that's it right there for me. I don't even want to think about it. She needs, you know, we have to pray for Candace. Charlie had security too. It's true. And the security turned on him. Entire team is 3 to 4 people. And you want to put Todd Father to shame. Yes, exactly. The security was poor, no contingency plan, and the roof should have been made secure by using a drone system. Yeah, and so they lie about that too, Joe, about the drones. Because they did have drones. First they said they didn't. And UVU, the Utah University, has the state-of-the-art cameras, and they're everywhere. So you would have high definition video and photos of basically everything that happened that day. So, but the feds came in and shut all that down immediately. So the photos and the videos there, the federal government has it. You criticize the FBI, but surely they are better under this administration than the last. No, they're not, Joe, because it's the same administration. The FBI doesn't change. You know what I mean? The director changed, but it's not, you know, none of those guys, that's permanent Washington, D.C., the CIA, the FBI, they're really the deep state. And we don't even have a clue about what goes on. The Pentagon is the second largest building in the world. It's like 6.5 million square feet. It is a huge complex. And it is literally impossible to even know what goes on there. I mean, they are the intelligence agency, and there's different factions of the intelligence agency. It's like I don't think the president has he has zero idea what's going on. None. Literally none. Kash Patel has bug eyes because, if you go down the rabbit hole of Kash Patel and JD Vance and Peter Thiel, and you go all the way up to, just the digital credit score system, the AI super grid, all of that stuff is all linked together. They're all part of the same monster. And so no, it is no different. It is absolutely no different. And I would argue to say that it's even worse, like way worse. Yeah, that's what it is, Joe. That's facts right there. It's a tough thing to think about if Candace got whacked. It is. But Toro, good morning. They cover up a murder scene with the construction crew coming in a week later, if that. Yep. And they literally changed the height and stuff, so you go there and remeasure stuff, and not only that, but he wasn't center. They made sure that his tent was off center so that where a shot came from, they can line up. There's like just so many different things. But we know that it wasn't a 30-06. We know that. And remember they told us that the bullet said you're gay if you're reading this, and ciao bella ciao, and I don't remember what they said. So it is one big cover up. It is one big lie. And that is an absolute fact. That's not a conspiracy. I mean, again, the line in the sand is the 30-06. They're lying about that. That's a fact. And if anybody, and I'm not, and I'm saying this with an open mind. Okay. If anybody, because if you want to do your research, or you happen to be a ballistics expert and you have military training with guns or whatever, because these people have already spoken. Many of them. Okay. It is literally impossible for a 30-06 to poke a hole in your neck and not splatter your whole fucking. I mean, it's basically going to decapitate you. But it is definitely, there's no scenario where it pokes a hole in your neck and the blood just squirts out the side. You know what I mean? And not to mention there was no blood to be found. It shows him, getting jolted up. His necklace flies off. They have that on video. And even Candace says she's seen the camera footage from behind, and she said there's no blood. There's no blood splatter on the back wall. That is impossible. From 200 yards away, or whatever the distance was he was away, literally impossible. You watch the videos online, what happens in ballistics, same setup, and there's nothing left. The head is separated from the body. I mean, literally. It is just, so like I said, that's the line in the sand. So it's a cover-up. It's a cover-up. And are we to think that the FBI, the federal government, doesn't know about ballistics and this kind of stuff? This is just, it's, you know what I mean? It's common sense for them. They know exactly who did this, what it is, but it's going to take somebody like Candace to even us all together would never get this far. You know what I mean? She is just a special human being. She's able to, and now she's got so many other people. Like she played a email from a lady yesterday who is reads like body language and all this kind of stuff. And she says she will put her license on the line for Candace. So That's how much she believes in her. ALV, good morning. Good to see you. Then why cover up a murder scene with construction crew and a week later? Yeah, exactly. I read that one. So we'll play a little bit more of her.
And to prematurely announce that somebody is dead, maybe you should answer why all of that took place, because you guys told lies about, verifiable lies about why that took place. Because don't forget, Andrew Colvett sat next to you and said it was because people were stealing. People were stealing. You probably would want to grab the very expensive cameras and not the SD card for an event that was being live streamed. Regarding Tyler Boyer.
Now, real quick, what she's talking about is, so immediately after Charlie's shot, they're still dragging his body to the car. Somebody comes and removes the SD cards out of the cameras right behind him. And they said they did that because people were stealing. So they're going to take the SD card, but not the expensive camera if people are stealing. Okay.
I'm so glad we're going to do this live streamed, because I'm happy to present to you the exact name of the intern. And I didn't say that he abused him. I didn't say it was not consensual. I said that he likes younger boys. I don't mean like younger as in they're not of the legal age. I'm just saying they're a lot younger than him. And yeah, I can give you the exact name of the intern that he hooked up with. That person was not at Turning Point USA. But I can also give you more than that, as well as people that are currently working for Turning Point USA who said that Tyler Boyer and these are young men tried to hook up with them after some events. So I'm glad we're going to live stream that. Keep going.
Okay. So I got the names mixed up. So this guy, Blake Neff, he's not the one that is going around fucking all the interns at Turning Point USA. It's Tyler Boiler. Okay. So I misspoke there. I'm not Candace Owens. Yeah, exactly. I don't understand why the big lie about the caliber of the bullet. What is the goal in that? Exactly. You know? Exactly. Well, yeah, that is a good question. That whole thing, yeah, I don't know. That was the dumbest, was it really just poor planning? I find that hard to believe. You know what I mean? So that is, and it's something that I've thought about too many times, because you never know at what level are we really being lied to, Nothing is real. It's hard to say.
She has suggested that TPUSA faith-affiliated pastors, like theologian Frank Turek, who we'll have on in a moment, and Pastor Rob McCoy, are part of a military, quote, infiltration of Turning Point, either because they are veterans or because they have family members who are.
Yeah, so I do believe the Calvary Chapel, their history with Chuck Smith, the evidence that it was a militant CIA effort to infiltrate the Christian faith and to tie the Christian faith to the political ideology of Zionism. I think there's a lot of evidence for that, and I'm happy to discuss that in a broader debate. I do think that things at Turning Point USA became a bit problematic when you started to, I would say, almost hijack genuine Christian faith and sort of roll it into this idea that you must support Israel in order to be a Christian. That's kind of floating into more opinion, but I think well backed by the facts of the founding of the Calvary Chapel Church during the decade of the 60s, where the CIA was really just spiking the ball on Christians in general. Let's keep going.
And not to mention, okay, well, first of all, her husband has a degree in theology, so they're not going to win that debate. But even, all that aside, everything is just that they can debate that out. I'll give you one fact. Rob McCoy brought that sexual fucking molester who did prison time for videotaping the underage girls. Remember that? I mean, you're going to bring a dude who did prison time for being a sex offender for sex offenses of a minor to your church? Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Another line in the sand. Nope. Nothing after that matters in my world. You want to lie about 30-06? You're lying about everything. You want to bring a sexual fucking molester to your church, dude? You're done. Nothing you ever do in your life has any credibility in my eyes. You are dead to me. I mean, these people are fucking sick. I think the only reason they could have lied about the caliber of the gun is because they could have lied what was inscribed on the bullets not having the space on a smaller bullet. It's a very good observation, Joe. You know, that is that's a great point. You know, I don't think anybody thought about that. But you, why a 30-06? Why not a smaller cal? Well, because they can't write all that stupid shit on there. It's a very good point. See No Evil, good morning. See the things that we can learn on the show. You know what I mean? And it's you know, it's thoughts like that, Joe, where people will call you crazy, you know, but we're over it. We're done being called crazy. We're done being gaslit. And this is how you get to the bottom of this shit, is you have to go through it and think through it through your head. And collectively, we're all going to get to the bottom of it. You know, and this is how we do it. Thought by thought by thought, just like that. It's amazing. See No Evil, good morning to you and our Agent Soli crew. She's going to dig up so much to bring on the 15th. I would do it sooner. If I were co-train, you already know. By then, she's going to be like a sheet of glistening armor. You're going to hear that shing when they press live. You know what I mean? You're going to hear that metal come out like a katana. No place on this earth for pamper pillars. 100%. You know, and that's just, let me see if I can find it real quick. I'm literally typing in Rob McCoy and the child molester. Bum, 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 bum. What happened? Here we go.
I was so compelled because of the gospel.
So if you guys don't know, the guy on the right in the blue suit is Rob McCoy, who's America's pastor, who his two sons are now basically running Turning Point USA with Erica Kirk. And he's a complete fucking fraud and a psychopath. And this guy here is a child molester that he brought into the church.
Gossip and the slander of my friend who's going to join me, that I wanted him to tell his story. So 20 years ago, when we were over at Skyline, the introduction was you walked in and you said, I need to talk to you and I got to share with you. And you were just pretty blunt. You just laid it out there. And you said, this is what it is. And you followed the procedures. You did what was required of you. And you and I have been friends. There's been no issues. It's remarkable how you've served this community. I personally made the call that they can make fun of us and they can claim whatever they want to claim, but I wanted your family protected. So I pulled that. I guess it was a advertisement for the home fellowship, which we do for all the home fellowships.
So he's upset, and he goes on to talk about how people online who don't know the full story are digging stuff up, and like, this guy's really a good guy. And I'm going to have Camino actually explain what really happened that put him into prison. Let me know if you're buying this story that he's about to tell. Take a listen.
So this is like early 90s, a nice little beach community in Orange County. And I get accused of a crime that I did not commit. It's a falsely accused. It's an underage girl thing. And the premise of the case is there's a guy running around asking people about a lost cat. And this happens 15, 20 times over the course of 6-8 months. And the whole town is getting in an uproar over it. So they bring this girl and they film an interview. After I got involved in this whole thing, we didn't know this was part of the thing. They just spring this in trial. And it's this interview where the kid doesn't care what she's saying. She's not upset. She thinks she's waiting for her mom in the dentist office. And then they just keep asking her leading question after leading question. And the kid's not giving them what they want. Eventually, they get her to say that there was some inappropriate touching on that. She sort of says it, sort of denies it, but it's all they needed. Now they can go out and arrest somebody. And they obviously don't care who they arrest. And the cops had lined up like 16 different guys of a certain look or whatever. And some of us, I was one of them, were under surveillance. And so they had pictures of us. And they got enough people to say, that looks like the guy. So they went and got me. Then they come over to my place with the search. They bring me in the search warrant over to my place. And they have 17 specific items that they're looking for. They get 11 of them, which sounds kind of bad until you read what it is. I get arrested. So they throw me in jail, and the next day you're supposed to get a hearing for bail.
Let's pause for a second. So they throw you in jail. The next day you get a hearing for bail.
They're nice enough to do it on. Okay.
How long ago was this?
Like 28 years. 28 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh.
28 years ago. All right, go ahead.
Let's pause for a second. How long ago was this? 28 years ago? Okay, no problem. You're good. You're good. Come on in. Come on into the church, buddy. You're good. Come on in. Come on in there, buddy. I get it. There was six. I mean, they just round up 16 of us. We all looked alike. We all looked like creepy fucking, what's the guy from Wacky Racers? You know, that's who he reminds me of. The tall fucking, or, you know, the dude with the dog. Dastardly and fucking, I mean, you can't make this shit up. Yeah, her facial expressions are awesome. 28 years ago, yep. What is that guy's name? The guy, Rob McCoy, is the pastor, ALV. And he, you know, look into him. He is a dastardly Doolittle. Okay. You got to look into him. He is a creepy motherfucker. And boy, they gaslit Candace in the beginning, telling her to shut up. And basically, you need to shut your mouth, is what Frank Turk told her. If you don't have any proof, you need to shut your mouth. You know? Well, sorry, you killed her best friend, and she's going to get to the bottom of it. I mean, and, you know, he said, let's pause for a minute. How long ago was this? You know, like he just wanted to just, oh, man, these guys are so fucking weird, man. No wonder they killed Charlie, you know? And, you know, he's military. So from what I hear, they have their own, like, fleet of ships. I'm going to ask ChatGPT. Does Rob McCoy have military ties? And do they own, like, a fleet of ships in the military? Or their family name has the name McCoy? That was a dumb question. Let's see. Yeah, they do have the. So his father was a conservative naval officer. Yeah, they're lying to us. I mean, regardless, the guy is just a fucking weirdo, man. He is just a fucking creep. Yeah. And then his son. So Rob McCoy, this is another lie about, this is a flat out lie about the Charlie Kirk thing. Rob McCoy here said that his son was covered in blood, that when Charlie Kirk got shot, that he immediately called his dad and asked his dad to call all the other pastors that he knew to pray for Charlie, and that he was covered in blood. Okay. Then Candace, as she does, comes with receipts and proved by video that that wasn't true. That there's no way that, because what he like immediately walked away. He didn't run towards Charlie. That within like a millisecond of Charlie being shot, he didn't even hit the floor yet. Mikey was already on the phone. Okay. And then he finally, after like 2 months later, comes up with a bullshit story that his dad was mistaken. And I'll show you that video real quick. Hold on. See if I can find that.
I'm looking at my son who's 24 years old. Justin's the CFO, chief financial officer, and Mikey's the chief of staff. And I'm watching the minute Charlie was shot, he called me, says, "Dad, Charlie's been shot in the neck. Please call every pastor and pray." I said, "Okay, son." He has wits about him. He was just directing. He had blood all over him. And Frank Turek. I want to.
So there he is saying that he had blood all over him, right? And for 2 months, that was not addressed. Let me see if I can find Mikey.
If there's silence on something, oftentimes people say it's silent because it's true. No, that's not why. Like there's so many accusations out there against so many people. Even one of them are like a sermon that my dad gave where he said that I had blood on me. And for the record, like he gave that sermon. I called my dad moments after everything happened and I was screaming. I was listening to that call. And Blake was next to me. I was screaming on the phone. I said, Charlie was shot in the neck and he had blood all over him. He said, and I think he said there was a lot of blood. And I said, you need to call every pastor and pray for a miracle. And he thought.
Hold on. I want to replay this again real quick. And they're talking about, the reason that they've been silent for 2 months doesn't mean that, they're hiding something or anything like that. There's a reason for it. But when he tries to give this garbage explanation, that dude, Blake Neff, can't even let him talk. Like, let him fucking tell the story. He like immediately is looking at his computer and he interrupts him. I was right there with you, like trying to co-sign for him. It's very strange. It's very strange.
Andrew, you said it. If there's silence on something, oftentimes people say it's silent because it's true. No, that's not why. Like there's so many accusations out there against so many people. Even one of them are like a sermon that my dad gave where he said that I had blood on me. And for the record, like he gave that sermon. I called my dad moments after everything happened and I was screaming. I was listening to that call. And Blake was next to me. I was screaming on the phone. I said, Charlie was shot in the neck and he had blood all over him. He said, and I think he said there was a lot of blood. And I said, you need to call every pastor and pray for a miracle. And he thought for some reason that I said I had blood on me. So he gives a sermon 72 hours later where he addresses that conspiracy.
Yeah, and he says that
I had blood on me. Okay. I didn't see that sermon. And then about a month later, that was like trending all over social media. And I called my dad and I was like, did you actually say this? And he was like, yeah, I just found out it's not true. So like behind every single one of these are a human being For an entire month, my dad had to live with nightmares every night that his son actually did have blood all over him.
Didn't you say he got emotional when he found out?
He got emotional when I was on the phone with him being like, that's not.
So you're so close to your dad that you call him the second Charlie's shot and ask him to pray, call every pastor you know and pray. But then you don't talk to him for a month. Your dad lives with nightmares for a month, thinking that his son had blood all over him. You don't see your son. You don't talk to your son for a month, even though he's the first person that he calls. You're the first person he calls when Charlie's shot. What? That makes no sense. I mean, yeah, I don't know what denomination. No, they're not. Well, the guy himself is saying that he was falsely arrested, that he didn't do it. But, obviously that guy's, I mean, why was he already under surveillance? He said he was already under surveillance. I mean, it's just pure BS, right, Steven? Like you call your dad a split second, and it's on video too, that he did. I mean, so he called his dad too quick, like boom. Or he called Erica and then his dad, I think. But his dad had to live a whole month with the nightmare. That's fucking garbage. So I'm gonna stop it there because it's 4:00 and I don't want to overdo it because I do got to get back to work. I got to assemble my Grinch bombs now. Tommy's about to come on. So great show, guys. Good hanging out with you. The debate will be on the 15th, allegedly. Please don't murder Candace Owens until then. Don't murder her at all. But, we got to keep her safe. And, honestly, I don't even care about that debate. I already know they're lying. It doesn't, I know it's important to her probably. Unfortunately, I don't know. It's crazy to think about like what's going to happen with the trial. I don't think there will ever be a trial. Will we ever see Tyler Robinson? Will we ever hear his voice? You know what I mean? Is he a real person? Or are they just going to say he died? It's hard to say. It's crazy. Like, you don't really see a huge push towards getting rid of these extreme leftists that are going around on rooftops and murking people either. You know what I mean? The world is a stage. All right, guys. Appreciate everyone hanging out. Talk to you soon.